TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations.
Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. Israel voices its unyielding determination to shortly launch Operation Gideon's Chariots against Islamist Hamas in the Gaza Strip. U.S. President Donald Trump announces his decision to remove sanctions on Syria. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia urges for a permanent solution to the Israel-Arab conflict to include the establishment of a Palestinian state. Israel will soon launch Operation Gideon's Chariots with the aim of ending the military and civilian rule of the Islamist Hamas terror organization in the Gaza Strip. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hosted IDF reservists who sustained wounds during the course of the war, during the course of which they voiced and demanded the defeat of the Islamist Hamas. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu responded by underscoring Jerusalem's intentions vis-à-vis the Gaza Strip.
Eliminating Hamas and releasing all our hostages, it works together. That's how we do it. First of all, things have changed. In the coming days, we are going in with all our might to complete the move. Completing the move means subduing Hamas. It means destroying Hamas. Now the forces are there. Hamas may say, enough, we want to release 10 more. Okay, bring them. We'll take them, and then we'll go in. But there will be no way we'll stop the war. We can make a ceasefire for a certain time, but we're going to the end.
The Israeli premier further acknowledged that Israel aims to advance U.S. President Donald Trump's plan for the day after in the Gaza Strip, which includes the voluntary relocation of non-combatant Gazan residents to third countries for the purpose of reconstructing the devastated enclave.
We've put together an administration that will allow them to leave, but the problem with us is one thing: we need receptive countries. That's what we're working on right now. If you give them the exit, I tell you that more than 50% will leave, and I think much more. But Hamas won't be there.
Meanwhile, at Ichilov Hospital in Tel Aviv, released hostage Gideon Alexander is undergoing medical evaluations as he embarks on a vigorous process of healing after 584 days of Hamas captivity in brutal conditions.
This process is expected to continue for several days, and we are fully prepared to respond to any needs that arise during this time. Gideon is currently staying in a specially prepared unit designed for him and for his family. This facility provides an optimal environment for the required medical evaluations and any necessary treatment or intervention, while also offering a home-like atmosphere that supports his adjustment to his new reality, with full privacy and in accordance with his preferences.
It is important to know that yesterday, ahead of a meeting with Gideon Alexander, U.S. Special Envoy for Hostage Affairs Adam Buehler asserted that there are a lot of exchanges related to the release of hostages and reaffirmed the president's commitment to the return of all Israeli and dual national hostages from Hamas captivity.
The U.S. is committed to all Americans and all Israelis here, so we're doing our job. I don't think about it not as Israel, what they don't do, I think about it what we do, and there was a lot of back and forth together.
Are you guys committed to release all the other hostages? It's been so long already.
The president has said all the hostages. One thing you'll find with this president is that he sticks with his promises.
Meanwhile, in the Arabian Gulf, U.S. President Donald Trump concluded his visit to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, during the course of which he made a number of dramatic announcements, along with unprecedented deals, to include a defense deal, which includes Saudi procurement amounting to an unprecedented $142 billion, along with a commitment of an additional $600 billion of investments in the United States related to the sectors of healthcare, aerospace, energy infrastructure, and artificial intelligence. Meanwhile, during a U.S.-Saudi investment forum, President Donald Trump expressed his desire to have Saudi Arabia join the Abraham Accords.
With the historic Abraham Accords that we're so proud of, all the momentum was aimed at peace, and it aimed very successfully. It's been an amazing thing, the Abraham Accords, and it's my fervent hope, wish, and even my dream that Saudi Arabia, a place I have such respect for, especially over the last fairly short period of time, what you've been able to do, but we'll soon be joining the Abraham Accords. I think it'll be a tremendous tribute to your country, and it will be something that's really going to be very important for the future of the Middle East.
President Trump continued by highlighting his administration's push to stabilize the volatile Middle East, while asserting further that among actors which have destabilized the region, quote, "The biggest and most destructive of these forces is the regime in Iran."
I want to make a deal with Iran. If I can make a deal with Iran, I'll be very happy if we're going to make your region and the world a safer place. But if Iran's leadership rejects this olive branch and continues to attack their neighbors, then we will have no choice but to inflict massive, maximum pressure, drive Iranian oil exports to zero, like I did before. If you know that, they were a virtually bankrupt country because of what I did. They had no money for terror, they had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah, and take all action required to stop the regime from ever having a nuclear weapon. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon.
While nuclear negotiations with Iran are progressing, President Trump emphasized that time is running out.
Iran can have a much brighter future, but will never allow America and its allies to be threatened with terrorism or nuclear attack. The choice is theirs to make. We really want them to be a successful country. We want them to be a wonderful, safe, great country, but they cannot have a nuclear weapon. This is an offer that will not last forever. The time is right now for them to choose. Right now, we don't have a lot of time to wait. Things are happening at a very fast pace.
The American leader also addressed his relentless efforts to rehabilitate Lebanon after Iran and its Lebanese proxy Hezbollah have effectively destroyed the country. He also underscored his unrelenting efforts to release all of the 58 Israeli hostages from Hamas captivity in the Gaza Strip, and emphasized the necessity for all nations to condemn the atrocities which the Palestinian terror groups committed on October 7th of 2023. And in a dramatic shift of policy, President Trump announced that Saudi Crown Prince bin Salman and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan had convinced him to abandon the sanctions regime which the United States had enforced on Syria.
In Syria, which has seen so much misery and death, there is a new government that will hopefully succeed in stabilizing the country and keeping peace. That's what we want to see in Syria. They've had their share of travesty, war, killing, many years. That's why my administration has already taken the first steps toward restoring normal relations between the United States and Syria for the first time in more than a decade.
Following the summit early this morning, President Donald Trump held a meeting with Crown Prince bin Salman and Damascus's de facto ruler Ahmed al-Shara, also known by his al-Qaeda name Abu Muhammad al-Julani, and with President Erdogan of Turkey, who joined the discussion via telephone. Subsequently, according to White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, President Trump urged al-Julani to 1. Sign on to the Abraham Accords with Israel, 2. Tell all foreign terrorists to leave Syria, 3. Deport Palestinian terrorists, 4. Help the United States to prevent the resurgence of ISIS, and 5. Assume responsibility for ISIS detention centers in northeastern Syria. Meanwhile, Prince Mohammed bin Salman praised President Trump earlier today for his decision on Syria.
We would like to commend the decision taken by President Donald Trump yesterday to lift sanctions on the Syrian Arab Republic, which will alleviate the suffering of our brothers, the Syrian people, and open a new page towards growth and prosperity.
The Saudi Crown Prince went on to assert Riyadh's hope to work with President Trump to find a permanent and comprehensive solution to the Palestinian cause in accordance with the Arab Peace Initiative and relevant Arab resolutions.
We seek with you, Mr. President, and in cooperation with our brothers in the Gulf Cooperation Council countries, to de-escalate tensions in the region, end the war in Gaza, and find a permanent and comprehensive solution to the Palestinian cause, in accordance with the Arab Peace Initiative and relevant Arab resolutions.
It is important to know that the Arab Peace Initiative includes a 10-sentence proposal for an end to the Arab-Israeli conflict that also pushes for the establishment of a Palestinian state based on the pre-1967 lines, with East Jerusalem that includes the entire Old City as the Palestinian capital. Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. I would like to urge you to take a moment to pray for the hostages who've endured already 586 days in Hamas captivity. Pray also for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Hassan wishing you an Erev Mevorach, and God willing, we'll see you during our next update. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.